For this term's school interest project, I decided to explore the world of 3D printing. So, about a year ago, I wanted to make a 3D printing YouTube channel, but never really worked out. This is what it was going to look like. I chose to do 3D printing because I think 3D printing is really cool, because it gives you endless possibilities of things that are possible, like things you can create. Plastic 3D printing is actually a fantastic way or method for allowing normal people and artists to bring their creations to life, and it's actually becoming better and bigger than ever before. So, how does it work? So, basically, 3D printing is a process of making three-dimensional solid objects from a digital file. It lays off a material until an object is created. The creation of a 3D printed object is usually done following certain steps and procedures to make sure everything will be done properly in additive 3D printing process. A 3D model or object is created layer by layer until you reach a final result. Materials can be used for 3D printing such as ABS plastic, epoxy resins, silver titanium steel, wax, and polycarbonate. 3D printing is used in almost every industry out there. One awesome example is how 3D printing is completely changing the world of prosthetics. The thing about prosthetics is that every hand, leg, and arm needs to be customized for each individual, which makes prosthetics hard to mass produce. But with 3D printing, you can scan someone's body and 3D print a prosthetic that is tailor-made for that individual. We are not only printing limbs now, we are 3D printing organs too. Scientists have successfully 3D printed a mini human heart from stem cells. This heart they have made here is particularly functioning. There are still a few more things that they have to work on before it's fully working. But scientists are confident that in a few years the heart will be able to function inside a human or animal. Still, how does this work? Well, there is a process that takes cells from a donor's organs and turns it into a printable bioink. Layers of cells are laid down in carefully calculated designs to build up small sections of tissue. The ultimate goal for organ 3D printing is to create organs that can fully integrate into the human body as if they had been there all along. 3D printing is even making its way into the construction business. It may not be long before all you need is a printer and a working understanding of Lego construction. On average, it can take approximately 6 months to complete the build of a house. But with 3D printers, you can build one in a single day. Construction 3D printing has quietly posed itself as the new outstanding future of home building. 3D printing housing promises cheaper, yet just as durable and housing design options that can be built from the ground up in a matter of days, instead of months. There is actually an Australian hemp company called Miraco that is developing a 3D printing process that utilises hemp biomass as a material to manufacture building panels for homes. Growth of the hemp industry worldwide is being impacted by a lack of downstream demand for hemp-based products. The problem is partially due to the distinct lack of innovation around hemp processing equipment. While the hemp can be used for a wide range of things, like clothing and food, the Australian company Miraco is actually taking it to new heights. The Perth-based company is working on a process that would use hemp biomass to construct habitable residential homes. By combining this hemp processing technique with 3D printing technology, this plant-based material will soon be used to manufacture building panels for homes.
One pan-fried catfish.
Is there any Star Trek fans watching? Well, guess what? A company called NovaMe has actually found a way to start 3D printing porterhouse steak, only using a paste of composed vegetables. The company is working hard to bring their steaks to the market. Left and right, different foods are being printed, sushi and burgers, the list goes on. These foods aren't being produced just for publicity. There soon may actually be a need for 3D printed food in the global population. The global population is expected to rise by 9.6 billion people by 2050, and some analysts project that the food production will need to be raised by 50% to maintain current levels. How we currently produce food isn't going to be able to keep up with that demand. So there we have 3D printed food. 3D printed food may be the additional production method we need to keep us from going hungry.
I wonder what else is on the menu.
NASA is even planning on 3D printing their own Martian base. It'll use these little robots that can co-coordinate with each other to 3D print large structures that they can inhabit on Mars. I think it's really cool how far 3D printing has come. All the way from plastic 3D printing now to thinking about even 3D printing a Martian base on Mars. Now that I've explained about some of the different types of 3D printing, I'm going to be experimenting with my own. I'm going to be making a controller steering wheel. This is what the final result should look like if it all goes down to plan. Here I am measuring the volume of each of these things that I'm going to be 3D printing, and I'm also adding scaffolding so that they can stand up straight once been printed. Here there's these blue supports. That's like the structural scaffolding so that your build can stay upright or in one piece and doesn't just topple over. Later on you just tear them off and then sand it down.
Fire spreading all around my room.
Here I'm looking at the 3D printed bed adhesion. It's the ability of 3D printed plastic to stick to the build plate while printing. When 3D prints don't stay in place on the build plate, you can get curled, shifted, and potentially disastrous results. After checking the adhesion, you need to wait for the 3D printer to warm up usually, but I'll just skip ahead to the printing on this video.
Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming.
Cool, it's finished now, we had no troubles. Now it's time to sand off the scaffolding pieces. Here I am sanding the wheel. The wheel didn't have any scaffolding pieces, but I'm just making it a bit more smoother. That's also the same with the rest of the parts.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to...
Okay, so seeing it's finished now, I need a bearing so that the wheel can turn. Let me just go find a bearing real quick and then just measure it to see if it's the right type. I found this old rusty scooter and stole its wheel. Sorry, scooter. Okay, so now that we've obtained ourselves a bearing, we need to glue it in place. This is what all the parts look like after it's like all came together and been sanded. Looks pretty cool. Here we're just gluing it in. Okay, so now it's finished and it's looking real cool. It just snapped right onto the controller and it's like stuck on there real well. It works by turning the wheel that is attached to this stick thing with teeth, and then that turns the stick that makes your car move. If that makes sense, I guess. Here's a little clip of me using the wheel on a car racing game. Overall, I'm really happy with the controller steering wheel. It really goes to show how many cool things you can create using plastic 3D printing. Okay, so now that I've 3D printed something, I want to learn how to 3D model. I'm going to use a 3D modeling course called Tinkercad, and later on I'm also going to experiment with sketchfab.com. Here I'm learning about getting the right height and copying blocks and placing them in different sizes from the last one. During this 3D modeling course, I learnt a lot about just the basics. This is like a easy 3D modeling course that anyone can do. And now I'm going to try and take this knowledge that I've gained from this and create something of my own using sketchfab.com, which is another 3D modeling software. Okay, so hopefully the knowledge I gained from the 3D modeling course helps me build this. I'm trying to build a character here. Hopefully it turns out well.
Two hours later.
Look at him in all his glory. He is finally finished. I even decided to give him a tea and hat. After all that modeling, I'm pretty happy with my final result, and I'm hoping to 3D print him within the next couple weeks. Overall, I've really enjoyed this term school interest project, and I'm hoping you guys did too. 3D printing has come a long way so far, and I'm really looking forward to see how far it will go in the future. Thanks for watching. My name's Tyson. See you later.